Hello and welcome to another revision session on Maths with Lloydie. Today we're looking at trigonometry. This has come from a request from the Year 11 class that I was working with in the half term. We're in February half term. My wife and the youngest daughter are currently out having a lovely meal. The eldest daughter's in bed, nice and quiet. So the only thing that could probably go wrong is the dogs bark or my dinner burns. So we'll see what happens first. Trigonometry, oh my God, I could probably do 4 or 5 videos on that. I've only got 15 minutes. I've got a limit on Microsoft Stream. Hopefully, I'll get some more tech at some point, but we'll see. Also, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep spell subscribe right. I'm going to keep linking some stuff in, keep putting some videos in. We've also now got an Instagram. Yeah, we're on the Insta. If you search Maths with Lloydie, you may find it. We're on the Twitter, so I'll be tweeting, maybe, sometimes, who knows. And also, we've got a Facebook page, an actual Facebook page just for Maths with Lloydie. We made a big thing about the 22nd of February 2022, which was great. Okay, scrolling down now. Let's get into the stuff. By the way, thank you to Corbett Maths. Thank you to Maths Genie. We're using your resources today. Thank you so very much. So, trigonometry normally involves right angle triangles when we're doing the basic stuff. And this is on right angle triangles. This is on foundation and it's on higher. So, this is a crossover topic you're going to need to know. Now, the first things that we need to do when we're working out how to find a length in trigonometry is we have to label the triangle, which I'll get to shortly because we're going to need to know what our functions are. So SOHCAHTOA, or also known as SOHCAHTOA. Apparently, there's a different version of this. I've never heard it. I don't know what anyone's talking about, and I definitely wasn't taught it at the school I'm currently working at. So, SOHCAHTOA. So we have sine or sin, that is the trig function, opposite, and then hypotenuse. We've got cosine, again the trig function, the adjacent, and then hypotenuse. And then we've got TOA, which is tangent, opposite, and the adjacent. So they are very, very key pieces of language that we need to remember, and they're put into a formula triangle. And I will explain why as we go through, but these formula triangles are massively important. Loads of people know how to use a formula triangle. Basically, if you're looking for one element, you cover it up and it will tell you what to do. So if you're left with the bottom two, you'll multiply. If you're left with the side two, like top and left and top and right, then you'll divide if you're left with those. So anyway, let's get on to labeling this triangle. So that's the first thing. Right, for part A, our hypotenuse is always going to be opposite the right angle. So the hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. The adjacent is the last one we do. We do the opposite next. So the opposite one is always opposite the given angle, which is there. And then finally, the adjacent is the last one. Now, adjacent means next to, so it's going to be next to the angle that you've been given. And that's it. It's labelled. Sorry, I was just checking the time. I've done 3.5 minutes, so I want to make sure I try and fit this in. Okay, triangle B. Again, we've got the hypotenuse. Now, that is always going to be the length that's opposite the right angle. We've covered hypotenuse, hopefully, in Pythagoras. Hopefully, you've done trigonometry before, because this is a revision video. This isn't a rock up and teach yourself maths from scratch video. I'm sure if you want me to do some of those, I can, but we should know most of this stuff by now. Opposite is opposite the 40-degree angle. So that's the given angle, the one that we know. We don't know the one that's down here, bottom left. And then the adjacent is the one that's left over. Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause the video. And then you have a go at these ones and then see how you got on. So pause the video, have a go. Okay, so I'm going to whiz through this now. You've paused it, you've had a go, and you've got them all right, I'm sure. So we've got the hypotenuse. The opposite is up here, and the adjacent next to the x. For part D, we've got the hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent down below. For part E, the hypotenuse is here, the opposite where the 2.8 is, and the adjacent is there. And then for F, we've got the hypotenuse, we've got the opposite, and we've got the adjacent. Happy days. So that is labeling our triangle. Now, the next step is deciding what trig function is going to be used. And I'd really like to Well, we'll do this from scratch. We won't go all the way back up, but I do need to go back up for the functions, to be fair. So I'm going to zoom out of here. Now, effectively, what we're going to do is we're going to look for two sides with info and use that. So x counts. So x counts as info. X counts as info. Okay, great. So for A, we've got something on the adjacent. Let me change my pen color. Something on the adjacent, something on the opposite, and we've got nothing on the hypotenuse. So we're looking for a trig function that has O and A. Right. Sin or sine has O and H, cosine has A and H, but here we go. Tangent has the O and the A. So because tangent has O and A, we would use the tangent function to work out that triangle. Right, we'll look at B. B has got something on the O, it's got something on the H, and on this occasion it's got nothing on the A, so it's blank. There's no unknown, there's no length. So we're looking for the one that doesn't include an A, and that will be sine. That doesn't include an A. So we'll put sine there, or sin. We'll just write sin, the three letters, because they appear on the calculator. Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause the video, have a go at the next four, and try to find out what trig functions they will use. Okay, fantastic. So part C, we've got something on the H, something on the A, nothing on the O. So that's going to be cosine, because cosine doesn't have O in it. For D, we've got the opposite and we've got the adjacent. So there's no H, and that means we use tan, because tan doesn't have an H in it. For E, we've got O, we've got A, we don't have the hypotenuse. So again, that one's going to be tan. And then finally, we've got O and H. For F, we've got nothing on the A, so that's going to be sin. So there are your 6 answers. Right, time check. How am I doing? 7 minutes gone, 8 to go. We're definitely going to have 2 parts to this video. Okay, so we've decided what trig functions we're going to use, and now I've got 2 examples. I'm going to show you how to do 2 of them, which is B and D, and then you're going to have a go off camera, pausing the video to have a go at A, C, E, and F. So let's go through B. Now we've done most of the hard work. We've got the hypotenuse, we've got the opposite, and we said we were going to use sin. Now this is where we have to use the formula triangle, and this makes things easier. The alternative is to set up an equation and start rearranging it, but from my time as an examiner, I know that rearranging algebraic equations is not a strength of many pupils that take their GCSE maths. So S, O, and H, so, and if you forget it, make sure you've wrote down these triangles. These formula triangles here are so important. You've got to make sure that you've got them. Writing these bits down, you should remember them once you've done it a few times. But remember these triangles, so important. Okay, so S, O, and H. O is nice and easy. We've got 8 centimeters there, so that goes to the top. H is my hypotenuse, so I've got an X on the bottom right. And then bottom left, this is the bit that we need to just sort of watch and learn and remember. So S stands for sin, so we put sin in there. And then the angle that we've been given goes with it. So that is sin 40. Now, we are looking for X. So with my blue highlighter, if I were to cover that up, we would be doing 8 over sin 40. So 8 is over sin 40. Now, something else I'm just going to tell you is your calculator will do that as soon as you hit the sin button. I want you to get into the habit of when you've wrote the angle, closing the bracket. And the reason why is if you're going to multiply at some point, if you don't close that bracket, bid maths will come to haunt you and you'll get an incorrect answer. Okay, so another thing to work out, to check, along the top of your calculator, you must be in that mode. So you must have a little D, stands for degrees. Now that's so that you're using degrees. In A-level maths, you'll come across R, which is for radians, and that is not something that we're doing. I don't think you even do it in year 12. We don't do that at all at GCSE. So we don't want radians, we want degrees. If your calculator is not in degrees, YouTube it, Google it, ask your teacher, find out how to get your calculator into degrees. By the way, I'm using a Casio ClassWiz. I would put a picture up of it, but I couldn't quite sign up to Amazon influencers. Apparently, I don't have enough followers yet. So please subscribe to the videos, and then that will help me on this journey. So 8 divided by sin 40, close the bracket. and that's given me 12.4457961. Rounded to two decimal places, 12.45. If we're rounding it to three significant figures, we're at 12.4. Remember that, don't forget that 5. That's not going to round to 12.5. We're looking at the original number. And that's our answer. We'll put centimetres there so that we can show our units. Okay, question D. I hope I've got an example of the other method, but we'll see. Right, we've got the hypotenuse, we've got the opposite, and we've got the adjacent. So we're going to use tan, get our triangle drawn up. We're using tan, bottom left, tan 22, T, O, and A. Remember, that's from the original formula triangle from earlier. At the top, O is going to be X. Yes, this is going to work out nicely, just how I want it. Okay, and then we've got tan. So again, highlighting this, we're covering up the X because that's what we want to find. And our function that we need to do, when I say function, I mean the maths thing that we need to do, is going to be multiplied. Now, this is where you've got to be so careful because when you type in tan on your calculator, and I'm going to do it now, immediately a bracket has been opened. So you type in that 22 for the angle and then close that bracket. Otherwise, like I said, BidMaths is going to break you. Right, then we multiply it by 18 times by 18, and that gives us 7.27247, which is 7.27. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, if you made the mistake, we've got tan 22 times by 18. If you did not close that bracket, right, the wrong answer that you'll probably get is 0.7265. And although this bit here is smaller than that bit there, that's not going to be 0.7. That's not going to be 0.7, okay? It is 7.27, so be very careful with your calculator. Okay, time check, because I've got exam questions. Right, there's 12 minutes. I'm probably going to end this one a bit early, and then we'll have part 2. But fortunately, part 1, planned it early, didn't I? Yes, yeah, I'm a madman. Right, let's go down. So, got our 2 examples. Have a go at these 4. Please pause the video and have a go at them. Okay, so hopefully we've got some success as I scroll down. Here are the answers. Please mark what you've done. Again, pause that video. Make sure that you mark it all. Hit play when you've done. Okay, hopefully we've got some success. If I've got any wrong, mention it in the comments box, but I don't think so because I copied those answers. Okay, here we go. We've got a bit of exam practice now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say pause the video, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to start another one so that I can get through the last exam question that I've got and I'm not rushing it because I've only got 2 minutes to go. So I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you later.